Wow. We're here. I saw Asmongold's tweet. Crazy how Twitch can't find the time to publicly congratulate Kai Cenat for 60K subs or even acknowledge anyone in that community at all. Fastest growing community. I responded, pretty simply. Why do you think? They're alienated by Twitch's poster children just because they can't have a piece of their pie. That's literally what happens to us. It's what happens to larger creators than us. Twitch's poster children literally monopolize Twitch with their PG-13 brand-friendly bullshit. And since they're so appeasing to big company sponsors, Twitch just adopts them. And God knows, only God knows, if we could go into the business meetings of these good hero creators and see their business contracts and see how snaky they actually are, believe me, they ain't the heroes y'all think. This is what I've learned in my time on Twitch, and this is why I've detached from everybody. Twitch is ran by what they would like everyone to think as innocent, good people streamers. But in reality, it's ran by a bullying group that if you're up and coming, you either join them and give them a piece of your pie and keep them relevant forever, or you get fully cut off, blocked off, and alienated from all things and attacked by their good guy armies. That's literally all it is. They're literally the same thing in the real world as a big company that pushes smaller companies out or buys them and fucking changes them, right? Like, it's the same fucking thing that goes on here. And the same people that preach against that shit are the same ones that are doing it passively on Twitch, right? So it's like, that's just what the fuck goes on. There's two types of people in the world in the category of what I like to call a decent to good human being. There's two types of them. There's the type that act decent only because they don't have the power or the money. But once you give it to them, they would act exactly how the bullies and the corrupt act. And then there's the ones that are actually decent and good. And money doesn't change them. And if it does, they come back, to who they are after, a phase. Now, I remember a time back when the largest demographics, the largest chats, the largest viewership was Greek, Tyler1, XQC, as far as community, myself. And I remember a time where these said poster children of Twitch sat there and virtue signaled, high-roaded, saying, you need to control every individual in your chat. You use them as armies. They come and harass us. And for the most part, it changed. It was fixed. At least on my end, I put so much effort in. My mods know. Devin Nash knows. If you listen to the podcast, y'all know. Only to later realize that these said streamers were only saying it because they didn't have it. Because as soon as they gained it, what have they been doing for the last 3 years? Not unintentionally, like us back then. Actually, intentionally, purposefully weaponizing their 13-year-old armies and harassing everyone and anyone that doesn't agree with them, comes at them, attacks them, or doesn't match their views. And it's not just verbal harassment. It's going all the way until they can find anything to cancel, anything to destroy. And do you see anyone saying anything against it? No, because they themselves are scared of what they've created. They're so young when it comes to, I shouldn't use young, they're so inexperienced when it comes to self-identity that without their clout, they have no grasp of who they are. And the thought of even going against and putting their foot down is scary to them. They don't want to lose even a single individual that is on their side, I should make clear. But the funny thing is, ironic in my opinion, is when you put your foot down, you actually gain twice as much as you think you would have lost. There's a level of respect. It's the same thing you see between parents and children. It's the same thing what you see between two best friends. When you're constantly agreeing just for the sake of agreeing to keep everyone happy, eventually you get fucking annoyed and you lose all fucking respect. But when you're told no, sure, do you fucking lash out and get pissed off and not talk to the individual for 2 weeks? Sure. But you come back, apologize, and your bond is 10 times stronger. So, I kind of went on to a rant with that, but that's what's going on. Just a bunch of fucking hypocritical pussies that run, streamer-wise, that run the tops of Twitch in regards to the faces, right? Obviously, the top streamers are like myself, XQC, Tyler1, like these types of people, right? But I'm not referring about that. I'm not referring to statistics and raw numbers. I'm talking about what Twitch puts out there as their faces, right? Twitch is literally 200 viewer Andes for their faces. Yeah, I know. 200 viewer Andes and also virtue signaling idiots that stream 2 hours every week. The 200 viewer Andes don't know any better. I don't blame them. They irritate me, but I don't blame them. They don't know any better. It's kind of like recently, right? Recently, I got annoyed. I won't name any names for just out of respect to the individuals, right? Because we're cool at the end of the day. But it's crazy. People who like worship the hero streamers of Twitch, and then they bash me publicly on their streams to cater to the audiences of the hero streamers. It's crazy. Like, they worship these guys, they say they're the best, do all this bullshit, right? But they're always in my DMs in private, asking for financial help, asking to help their friends, asking for actual change. I don't blame them. They all tell me the same thing or around the same thing, right? They just feel peer pressured by other communities. They feel peer pressured by creators they hang out with. Even though it's funny because each of them feel peer pressured by each other, but if they just communicated, they'd realize they all feel the same way, right? But that's just the funny thing of that social kind of thing that goes on, you know, when there's no communication. You just assume each of you are 100% on board with the individual you're worshiping, but in reality, you kind of know something is wrong, but you don't ever act on it. But that's just what it is, I guess. What you think of Andrew Tate? I mean, I say it on most stream, I say it in Asmongold's side streams, alt streams. The people who hate him, the extreme leftists on Twitch, and they can get angry that they're called extreme leftists, they're extreme left. They think it's the opposing side that has created him, but that is their own fucking hubris. The group that created Andrew wasn't the right, or wasn't young incels. The group that created Andrew Tate is the extreme left. It is the people that hate him. It is the people that don't want him talking. Those are the people that created him. They just don't see it, because in their minds, they're always right. Andrew Tate is the result of the pendulum swinging back to the other side. He's the result of having no balance. He's the result of a two-party system that literally preys with their vocal minorities all over the internet on anyone and everyone that doesn't agree with each respective side's rhetoric, right? He's the result of that. If you're going to have extreme left leaders that run shit for 3 years and start canceling people for shit they said 15 years ago and shit that they do or say that isn't actually this or that, they just blanket everything as this or that, and they cancel and destroy good people, even though they preach rehabilitation, even though they talk about rehabilitation and reform of prisons, yet when it comes to their own power, they destroy. There's no time for there's no space for rehabilitation. There's none. It's full destruction, no chance to redeem. And the funny thing is they come to their decisions without any due process, any evidence. He's the result of that. When you piss off the normal, right? I'm not talking the extreme side, I'm talking the inner, I'm talking the normal people of the world that mostly are middle right, middle left, and middle. They're gonna be looking for anybody. And when they get desperate, it'll be anybody to come and fight it. Do you understand? So it's not that I'm not justifying his existence. I'm not saying that what he does is good. What I am saying though is he's a result of the very people who don't like him. So until they can look in the mirror and take responsibility for that and realize that their ways are no better than the other ways, then that's when we'll have a more balanced society, and figures like this won't be taking over on this level of influence, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I hate using influence because I just think that's so dumb, but that's what people say these days.
It was fucking hot. Okay, dude. Okay.